I was mid-editing something else, and they've got to drop some FM stuff on us. So it seems an media embargo has lifted. People who have played the game are posting about it. So I guess let's go have a look what they have to say about FM26. So here we go. We've got Eurogamer. There is a Radio Times. There is Kicker, which is German website. 2 with Forbes as well. There might be more, but those are the ones that I've found so far. I've just seen the headlines to these and maybe 1 or 2 comments on them. So some interesting things to quickly have a look at. So FM26 played a day of it. It's going to take a lot of getting used to. Is an interesting comment. Maybe a little bit worrying. I don't know. I don't know how people feel about that. It took me a long time to get through all my inductions before I could even set foot on the touchline. I don't want to read through the whole article, so I'll link all these ones down in the description below, but we'll just see if we can pick out some highlights. So this is taken to a whole new level, but there is a lot to learn or relearn. I think that's maybe a worry for like long-term players of the series. How do you engage? How are you going to have to engage with this game? Like, you know, everything's going to have moved around. It's going to be in different places, and that's going to be a worry, right? Like, it's going to feel wrong. Like, you got to, well, I don't know, 20 years, 30 years of built-in way of understanding the game. An RPG style setup to your manager's attributes. Okay, I wonder what that is. So these are now described verbally rather than represented by a hard number. So your attacking coach. Oh, interesting. Okay, he says he doesn't like it, but to me that sounds kind of interesting. You know, like a personality to the manager. You pick 3 coaching styles from a choice of 9: attacking, defensive, developer, energetic, entertainer, pragmatist, specialist, systems builder, and tactician. And 3 mental choices of a choice of 6: driven. Okay, this is interesting. So there's something that was sort of already in the console one the last few years, like the manager principles stuff, but it seems to be a more fleshed out version of that in sort of like a, hey, what kind of manager are you? I think that's interesting because that could like make a difference what kind of jobs you can get, how the players react to you, what kind of styles the game recommends to you. I think that could be kind of cool. There's a lot of potential there. They determine your coaching attributes, okay, and a background system. Yeah, I mean, I like that. He says he doesn't like it, but I like the idea. I like the sound of it. You know, maybe it's the in practice that doesn't work. After this came a new wave of mini tutorials via the portal. So here's the portal. We got any new screenshots here? This is the nation's setup page, which I think we've seen before. I don't remember. We've got, or this must be shared because this is like their official one. And the portal, obviously, we have seen before. This is from the transfer room last week. A Windows-like system with the tiles and cards, which we've seen. Now there's no back button within the windows, which the thing pops up, but to get back is awkward. There's no way to get back to where you came from. I hope that's just like a pre-alpha thing, and that's something they can fix. Because does it say when this was played? I mean, we have to assume early access is soon. I guess it could be fixed before the release. It doesn't say. So the portal is like the inbox, yeah. So the inbox, I mean, they decided to go to that WhatsApp style system, and they've gone back now to the inbox. But the addition of the tiles and cards, so you get boxes with relevant inbuilt. That's good. Yeah, it's going to take some getting used to. The UI is on the pitch under the hood. The white room and the tactics. Yeah, these are the screenshots we've already seen. This stuff, after a few hours, fantastic. After a few hours. So, yeah, it's going to take getting used to. I think that's the implication here. The visual improvement within the matches and stuff. I mean, they look good, don't they? Like, this looks good. This looks like... Is it going to load this women's football screenshot? This looks good. So, yeah. If you play many hundreds of hours of FM, you'll recognize FM-like movements, but fundamentally these matches simply look much, much more like real football. I think in those previous trailers we saw bits that like jumping had a bit of momentum, players taking volleys and taking the ball on in better ways. Okay, so the in and out possession, it's something we want to do, something we've been discussing for a very long time. Jack Joyce said the team's been working on for more than 4 years. From the idea we could recreate certain tactical systems that we're seeing in real life with the tools at our disposal. Okay, so yeah, I think we looked at this. This is showing the position relative to what's going on at that point on the pitch. You can have it the role set up so it transitions. Yeah, so they do one thing in attack and one thing in defense. I think that is going to open up a lot of tactical like styles and things you can do, and you can do some really cool stuff. I might get a bit more into doing the tactics videos myself this year. You know, it's an area of the game I've sort of not touched because there's already lots of people who do it. And there is sort of metas in the previous games, but this is a fresh start. This is a real opportunity to go out. And I'd been sat on like meta-y Gegenpress tactics since FM 2006. So it's I never touched that because I never really fiddled around with my tactics too much. I always chose certain things, but I think this year maybe that changes. The team considered adding more roles which approximate that effect. Okay, so we got the two systems. So he's saying there's a lot of fluidity, some ludicrous formations around the room of the preview. Okay, ask your centre back to run up to centre forward when in possession and back to centre back again. Because you can doesn't mean you should. You get a little yellow warning sign from your assistants telling you they'll struggle to move between such distances. So you can do it. This was a question I had on the FM show. So you can do it, but it warns you. That's kind of funny. The team talked about restricting this, but I think you can do it, but the player's not going to get back in time. I think that's like that is a good compromise. You can view how your team will look at any point, so it's close to a heat map or pass network. Each player's likely average position. That's interesting. So it evolves through the vertical thirds and the horizontal thirds. Okay, nice. So you get like 9 spots of where the ball is on the pitch. My 4-2-3-1 to 4-4-2 system began to struggle. Switched to a 3-4-2-1 and had more success. You switched to Anarim's tactic and had more success with Man United? Why? How? He can't have success with it. That also threw an interesting question on team test in full game. How do players with naturally hybrid roles such as wingbacks work? Okay. Yeah, that is going to be a fun dilemma to play with. He mentions bugs and hiccups, but I guess we're like, he played a 2-week-old build at the start of October. So that's something that's like 6 weeks out from what we assume is going to be early access. So yeah, I expect a lot of those might be fixed. Yeah, text overlap and things like that. The warning bug, the lack of back button. Yeah, so these might be things that get fixed. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we aren't left with a buggy game. Substituting and organising your sections for match day feels fiddly, with only small parts of players' row in the list being selectable. Again, that sounds like that might be a bug, but hopefully that's a bug. A player dedicated attribute plays no option to highlight their key attributes. Ooh, it's a colorblind person. That's like kind of, I don't know. We'll see. Bugs might be squashed. UI snags might have new workarounds, new ways to be navigated. Part of my time with the demo felt like walking around a home full of rearranged furniture and accidentally sitting on a coffee table. Okay. Over time, the new layout become natural. So I think, like, overall, the idea is that UI and the tactics and the in-game stuff is kind of good, but it's going to take some getting used to. And at the point at which they played this, it was lacking a bit of polish. So let's have a look, see if there's anything new in the other articles. This is the Radio Times one. Yeah, so he's also saying there's like more flexibility. They played for 5 hours. So he played with Middlesbrough and Durham City, which is the women's team. The strikers couldn't hit the board side of a barn. Defenders were clinical. Okay, interesting. In one particular 6-1 victory in pre-season, all 6 were scored by defenders. Okay, interesting that the defenders are the best scorers. Wonder if they were like corners or something. Thankfully, all of these elements I discussed so far have really impressed me. I have no doubt that anyone as excited for the game as I was will enjoy the gameplay. That is reassuring. The broader doubts are with the UI UX. A whole new design gets them getting used to. Hotkeys and shortcuts will be in the game at launch, but many of the shortcuts I was used to weren't there. Okay, so again, it's an older build. Not a fan of the UI, but never install a custom year every year. We don't know about custom skins yet, or do we know? I think, did Miles say something about custom skins? He said something about like a few things in some of those Indonesian interviews. So they've rebuilt things up. So some of the quality life improvements are not immediately present. Some of them felt like quite large oversights. So the confirmation button, dragging. So this is again the dragging of players. A menu simply didn't have a back button. Yep. Yeah, okay. Couple of weeks behind internal build and then still a few weeks of development still. So again, this could be like things to come. But I mean, this stuff is interesting. I'm confident that FM26 would be a success. At the core, it's the same game we've always loved, just with the souped up game engine powering it. And by the time we get 26, I mean, maybe that's the worry, right? Like, I don't think this is a bad path, but at what point is it that FM26 is like halfway there and it's going to feel a bit frustrating, and FM27 and 28 are going to be the actual ones. Yeah, the growing pains of Unity do. You can see why they cancelled their 25 as well. Okay, we have Kicker as well, the German website. The new title is fun, but still a lot of work to be done. I mean, it depends how quickly they can change these things. You'd hope with less, like, before they were working on their own engines, you'd hope with working with Unity, maybe some of these things are a little easier to fix, but it sounds like they've actually had a lot of problems. I know there was a GDC conference last year where they talked about some of the issues they've had converting over to Unity. But you'd hope as time goes on, it becomes quicker to fix these kind of things. The graphical improvements are clearly visible. Okay, that's cool. Strike a chest down a high ball. That's the stuff we sort of saw in the trailer. That looked really cool. Some of the animations still recall earlier installments. Okay. So there's a mixture of like old and new. Scary faces and numerous bugs. Players' faces look creepy. No, the one thing I wanted better faces. I don't know why I want better faces, but I want better new gen and regen faces. And the spectators resemble mannequins. We saw the picture of like the lineup of the women's football, and like the one that looked like Gail from Coronation Street and had like massive hands as well. It was like, well, hopefully they can like improve that stuff. I mean, maybe that's the kind of thing they can't improve before the release. Like lots of bugs. I mean, you sort of expect that, maybe. Transparent, yeah. I mean, I'm not going to look too much into the idea that there's still lots of bugs in 4 to 6 weeks before the game's released. The new menu navigation, Sports Interactive reworked the core. More clicks are required. Oh, I don't want more clicks, especially at the beginning. Difficult to find certain submenus. Took us a long time to figure out how to delegate tasks. New bookmark feature is a positive feature. Yeah, I installed the SAS skin, which had bookmarks last year, so it's something I wanted to add myself. I don't know how restricted it is, but we'll see. The more tactical depth, a bigger hurdle for beginners. Yeah, I think that's going to be interesting. I think the more tactical depth is going to be really good, but whether like that is going to be challenging for beginners, the in and out of possession is probably going to be. It definitely is going to need like a good guide. You know, I'll be putting some on the channel. I'm just putting it out there. I'm going to put some on the channel, but yeah. What do we have? We have Forbes as well. A day with FM26. What does it play like? But they also had an interview, so we'll look at the Forbes interview in a second. A culture shock. Features aren't where you expect them to be. Okay, so yeah, there is a learning curve. The bookmark sounds good as well. The match, everyone's saying how good the match engine looks, so I'm happy for that. Like that's really cool. And everyone says the tactical depth as well, and also the signings. No one mentioned the signings. You have to think about how players are fit into both your formations. Yeah, that's true. That could be really cool. Obviously, women's football. Actually, this is the first one I think that's mentioned women's football. So it isn't a separate game. You start a career with a women's club. The men game will be simulated alongside it. Coaches can move between. The attention to detail on female players was even better than the men's. Okay. Yeah, because they've been doing the motion capture on the women's football. All right. The size of the player database, only Super League 1 and 2. Yeah, I hope custom databases like extend that out, because only Super League 1 and 2, and that's actually the only country with. Or is it Spain or France? One of the other two also has two leagues, but there's not many that have 2 leagues. What's missing? International management. So no international management. That's the first time we've seen this in English. No international management with the World Cup season. That is disappointing. Draft mode we knew was missing. I would hoping that'd be back. We could have done some drafts, but we'll see. The ability to encourage or shout instructions during games is also gone. Element of doubt whether these made any difference. Okay. Some things that needed changing with removing is still in place. Chief among those are the tedious press conferences. Oh, the same questions and answers into press conferences. So they rebuilt everything but left that in. Okay, so it isn't a review. Needs a rework. Okay, let's see if there's anything in this little Miles interview as well. So this isn't that's Spencer Owen. This isn't the interview. That's Miles at the FIFA. It looks like that's not Barry Collins, but oh well. A massive redesign in its 33-year history. Declining attention spans, concentration levels. So they designed it for declining attention spans. Interesting. People concentrate now than anything else. We're trying to set up the next 20 years what we've done with the UI. Is that good for people with declining attention spans? There's a lot on the screen there, isn't there? A lot more than you would normally have, I think. The way operating systems and productivity tools have changed over time. Try and cater for everyone, which is a very difficult thing to do because people are so different and varied. We wanted something where people could find the information, those core bits of information they needed really quickly. But if they want to go deeper, they still can by clicking on things. Okay. Football Manager's arrival on Netflix, Apple Arcade. So 2024 increased to 20 million. Jacob said the game's redesign isn't necessarily intended to make the game more attractive to a wide audience because I don't know how much we can expand. We have such a wide audience. Okay, so they want to like please as much of the audience as possible, the current audience. The demographics are also changed. So the majority would have been diehard football fans. Now you've got people who get their football knowledge from TikTok and Twitter. I don't know if that sounds like a slight. Or the Athletic. I mean, yeah, the Athletic does. Well, the Athletic's gone downhill a little bit, but definitely is interesting. They're not only different age groups, but also different play styles too. A journey person, long careers, favorite Premier League club. Yeah, okay. So some people just play like one season. What's changed since the cancelled FM? It wasn't fun to play. Spent a lot of time, particularly on the navigation system. We now have too many ways to navigate. We had one way, it didn't really work. Far too many buttons hidden away. Navigation bar, bookmarks, keyboard shortcuts, revamped search engine. Okay. Some people are going to want to see smaller bite-sized information like we spoke about earlier. Some people are what I call Roxette. I mean, at this dated reference. Some people want to be able to just go straight to the chorus and work everything out for themselves. Are we trying to cater for everyone in that way? Trying to please everyone, end up pleasing nobody. Yeah, I did that. This is going to be a worry, isn't it? Okay, and they have also just tweeted this. The advanced access with finalizing details, concrete date to share with you next week. So it's not going to be today. It's going to be next week. Wow, I'm looking forward to it, although I am hesitant, but I am looking forward to it. Details next week. Hey, let's go. Football Manager 2026. If you want to see my other videos on Football Manager 2026, I've got a whole playlist just here. Check it out. And yeah, let me know what you're thinking down below. What do you think of these articles? If there are any that I've missed, tell me about them, what they said, what they included. Catch you guys next time. Ciao, ciao.